Thank you, and thank you for being here. Thank you so much, my wonderful friend, Dean Anita Farrington. Thank you also to my Dean, Richard Kalb, and to the College of Arts and Science for hosting this. And thank you all for being here at this time. I'm sure there are many things you could be doing, students, homework, faculty grading. And so I'm honored that you chose to be here with us. I will bring up two people who will help me read. Lee Kirk, who is also my aunt and an accomplished actress. You come up. And Joshua, who is a junior here at the College of Arts and Science. So as Dean Farrington said, this was a labor of love, and it's one that for 5 years I worked on, going through archives and anthologies and in attics, trying to find the letters of African Americans that could help sketch a portrait, an intimate portrait of a people, from the dusty plantations to the White House with the election of Barack Obama. And during this time, I was surprised by the wall of resistance I encountered by many who saw these letters less as documents of a people's history and more as personal possessions. So I had a really difficult time, and one that I did not anticipate, securing permissions to publish many of the letters that are in archives. But fortunately, there was enough support for this project that allowed me to weave together more than 200 letters that span from the 1700s to 2008. And we will give you just a piece, a glimpse of the letters that are in this book. But what I tried to do is weave together letters that trace the footprints, large and small, of a people from bondage to self-determination, from the Civil War to the war in Iraq, and as I said, from dusty plantations to the glistening White House. The correspondence of unsung slaves, soldiers, lovers, fathers, mothers, artists, activists are woven together with those of historical giants, from Phyllis Wheatley, Paul Ernst Dunbar, Langston Hughes, James Baldwin, Alice Walker, and Toni Morrison, to Benjamin Banneker, Sojourner Truth, Frederick Douglass, WEB Dubois, Ida B. Wells Barnett, and Colin Powell. The likely missives of the extraordinary are matched by the equally poignant letters of the ordinary, who pen in hand share their joy and pain, ecstasy and heartache.
This letter is from Hannah Grover to her son Cato. It was written June 3rd, 1805. My dear son Cato, I long to see you in my old age. I live in Caldwell with Mr. Grover, the minister of that place. Now, my dear son, I pray you come to see your dear old mother, or send me $20 and I will come and see you in Philadelphia. And if you can't come to see your old mother, pray send me a letter and tell me where you live, what family you have, and what you do for a living. I am a poor old servant. I long for freedom, and my master will free me if anybody will engage to maintain me so that I don't come upon him. I love you, Cato. You love your mother. You are my only son. This from your affectionate mother, Hannah Van Buskirk, now Hannah Grover. P.S. My dear son, I have not seen you since I saw you at Staten Island at Addie Barker's about 20 years ago. If you send any money, send it to Dr. Bonner and he will give it to me. If you have any love for your poor old mother, pray, come or send to me. My dear son, I love you with all my heart. Hannah Van Buskirk.
This is a letter from a bream Scriven to Dinah. September 19th, 1858. I take the pleasure of writing you these few words with much regret to inform you that I am being sold to a man by the name of Peterson, a trader who stays in New Orleans. I am here yet, but I expect to go before long. And when I do go, I want to send you some things, but I don't know who to send them by. But I will try to send them to you and my children. Give my love to my father and my mother, and tell them goodbye for me. And if we shall not meet in this world, I hope to meet them in heaven. My dear wife, for you and my children, this pen cannot express the grief that I feel to be parted from you all.
We're taken behind the public facade of scholars and activists. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail is here, along with his private missives to his wife, who in 1960 he writes from a state prison.
This is a letter from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to his wife, Correta Scott, on October 26th, 1960. Hello, darling. Today I find myself a long way from you and the children. I am at the state prison in Reedsville, which is about 230 miles away from Atlanta. They picked me up from the DeKalb jail at around 4 a.m. this morning. I know this whole experience is very difficult for you, especially in the conditions of your pregnancy. But as I said to you yesterday, this is the cross that we must bear for the freedom of our people. So I urge you to be strong in faith, and this will in turn strengthen me. I can assure you that it is extremely difficult to think of being away from you, my little Yoki and Marty, for 4 months. But I ask God hourly for the power of endurance. I have the faith to believe that this excessive suffering, which has now come to our family, will in some little way serve to make Atlanta a better city, Georgia a better state, and America a better country. Just how, I do not yet know, but I have the faith to believe it will. And if I am right, then our suffering is not in vain.
In WEB Dubois, the eminent scholar and activist morphs into the doting father who tries to brace his 14-year-old Yolanda for the curiosity of race at her British boarding school.
Dear little daughter, I have waited for you to get well settled before writing. By this time, I hope some of the strangeness has worn off and that my little girl is working hard and regularly. Of course, everything is new and unusual. You miss the newness and smartness of America. Gradually, however, you're going to sense the beauty of the old world, its calm and eternity, and you will grow to love it. Above all, remember, dear, that you have a great opportunity. You are in one of the world's best schools, in one of the world's greatest modern empires. Millions of boys and girls all over this world would give almost anything they possess to be where you are. You are there by no desert or merit of yours, but by lucky chance. Deserve it then. Study. Work hard. Be honest, frank, and fearless, and get some grasp of the real values of life. You will meet, of course, curious little annoyances. People will wonder at your dear brown and sweet crinkly hair.